Hey everybody, it's Jason Blah here, and you guys know what time it is. It's time for current events in the online fitness community, and numerous people have asked me, Jason, have you seen the newest video by Alpha M, by Aaron? Have you seen what he said about the squat, bench, and deadlift? So I'm going to check it out. Let me go ahead and put on my +5 hat of speechcraft, and let's talk about it. Because here's what I've been doing lately. I'm very critical a lot of fitness YouTubers. I'm very critical of people in this community. Now, he's not necessarily a fitness YouTuber, but he covers fitness a bit. But I also give credit where credit is due. Look, if someone is conning you or they're pimping some BS, I'm going to call them on it. If they say something that's good or positive, or particularly they realize they've made a mistake in advice they're giving, they realize that they've reached an epiphany of some type, I think that we need to acknowledge that, and I think we need to give credit for that. We need to. Doesn't matter if you don't like other stuff that a person does. When they get something right, or they do something useful or helpful, and they make the world a better place for their audience, that needs to be acknowledged, and it needs to be encouraged. Right? It needs to be encouraged. And Aaron kind of reached an epiphany with some things, and I'm glad he did, and it's something I've been trying to say for a long time. And you guys watch the difference. Watch most of the guys who are here on YouTube Fitness who are over 40, because it's a different world. It is a vastly different world. You kids right now do not understand the difference. All the guys who are reaching like 35, 40 now who listen like, yeah, it's a different ball game, guys. And then they'll see me throw 500 pounds on the bar and rep it on the deadlift. It's like, and you're in your 40s, and these other guys are falling apart. There's a reason for that. This stuff matters. The way that you train matters. And the things that you guys think are important when you're younger, you're going to be surprised how many of you are going to be has-beens when you get older. I mean, look at some of the other guys who did nothing but bodybuilding stuff. They're now trying to do this in their 40s. They're falling apart. They're injured. They're hurt. They're beat up. They're banged up. Yet you see a lot of power lifters who are doing real good, a lot of strength athletes. And it's kind of funny because there's this misconception out there, isn't there? There's a misconception. So, well, what do you mean? All these powerlifters are always hurt. Well, powerlifters with bad training are always hurt. Powerlifters who abuse too many drugs are always hurt sometimes. Well, sometimes. But you see a hell of a lot of powerlifters who are on the other extreme, and that's something that Aaron acknowledged. He noticed it out. He started deadlifting 6 months ago, and he's like, the change in my body and my strength and my hardness is completely different. It's like, my God, it's like night and day. That's what I try to tell you guys. The deadlift, I mean, it's strengthening your back. You cannot comprehend the difference that it makes. You cannot comprehend it till you guys start to get a little bit older and you've been training, and then you'll realize what I'm talking about. Maybe you won't. Maybe you guys will be talking about, well, my hips hurt and my back hurts, and then my shoulders hurt, and all this stuff, and then you see all of us who have a background in strength training, and we're still just going strong. We're unhurt. Everything's great. And it's like, well, wait a minute, And then you ask us, hey, do you guys hurt? No, fine. My back doesn't hurt. I don't wake up stiff and sore in the morning. No, I don't have these problems. And believe me, it's not my amazing genetics, because I'm not the most genetically gifted person out there. I don't think anyone's questioning that. So it's stuff that we've got to think about, and I'm glad that Aaron was willing to acknowledge that. Now, I will kind of knock down, before I get into that a little further, a couple little things he got wrong. Trying to pimp products, pimp these scales that will tell you your body fat. Okay, Aaron, I'll call you. See, this is where I'm give credit where credit is due, and I call people on BS. That scale is not capable of telling you your body fat percentage. There is no science. Let's go back. He said, well, a lot of what we learned was bro science. That scale is bro science. There is no form of bioimpedance that has ever been invented that can tell you your body fat percentage. That is not real science. That's not real science. That's bro science. That scale can't tell you your body fat percentage. It can't even get it close. In fact, it'll give you a different body fat percentage in the morning and at night. It'll have you at 12% at one time in the day, and 10 hours later, it'll have you at 25%. Right? That's how inaccurate it is. Literally 25 pounds different amount of fat on you at the same weight. Completely worthless. But back over to the point. We get to the point about the training and the strength training, is that he started deadlifting, and he's like, wow, I'm actually shocked, and I feel bad, and I regret that I didn't give this advice for years, because I came from this bodybuilding background, and I only thought about things like my chest and biceps instead of functional strength. And as I've gotten older, I've started to realize how valuable being really strong is. And it really is. And again, you guys want to know the difference. I mean, let's talk about perfect example. Louis Simmons, there's a perfect example. Guy walked in and hit over a 700-pound deadlift at 55. right, at 55. And I want you to let that sink in. How many of you out there, think about it, even you younger guys listening, maybe you're fans of Aaron, maybe you're fans of me, maybe you're just stumbling along this. What do you think of when you think of the average 55-year-old man? Even a 55-year-old man who goes to your gym, who works out a bit. Like, you've got this image of them. And then you have this image of what a 700-pound deadlifter is. Like, most of you guys have never even seen anybody deadlift 700 pounds in real life. Most of you at your gyms haven't even seen anybody deadlift 500. And if they did, it was probably with straps and a hitch and all this nonsense, right? Yeah? Whereas you guys have seen me do, what, 515 for sets of 5. You see me do 500 for 7 without a belt. Okay, but you've got this image of what a 700-pound deadlifter is. Now, flip back over and think of the 55-year-old man and picture a guy walking into a meet and deadlifting 750 at the age of 55 and not being like 300 pounds either. Imagine a guy doing it who weighs about 220 pounds. Okay, 55. See the difference here? And a guy who has no health problems at that age. All right, that's the difference. Think about that in terms of functionality as you get older. Think about that in terms of how much different a person physically feels and they can function in their day-to-day life who can deadlift 500 plus pounds in their 50s, especially 700 pounds. We don't even need to go that far, it's 500. Think about the difference in terms of the longevity and how your body feels. Versus everyone you know, a lot of you younger guys, you might even be 25, and you think of your dad, who might only be 45 or 50, and think about the complaints he has. And then come back over and think about those of us who are serious about our strength training. We don't have those problems. We don't have those problems. They don't exist. You don't wake up in the morning and say, oh, my back is sore, my hips, I can't move, I gotta stretch. Like, if you gotta stretch to do anything, you're completely out of shape. You're a weak piece of shit. I mean, you've really damaged your body. You've really neglected your body if you got to stretch before you can do something. Like, wow. By the way, I don't stretch. So, you see the point there. And he realized that. He came to an epiphany and said, I really should have done more of the big 3. And he said that later. He said the deadlift first. He said, I should have done more of the big 3. I really should have put more focus upon my strength. And I value it more as I get older. And you do, because it makes an enormous difference. And it's not just me saying it. It's not just Aaron saying it. Start looking at the research. Strength, physical strength is the fountain of youth as you get older. I mean, literally the amount of strength things like your legs have been tied to lower Alzheimer's rates, better memory, and things past age 60. Start looking at all the things. Sarcopenia, loss of bone density, loss of muscle mass. And again, you can't always just keep doing the pump workouts and maintain your muscle mass as you get older. You have to put some tension on there, and especially structural loading. You're going to have to actually load your spine up, your legs, things like sitting on top of your back and shoulders with a heavy weight, squats, deadlifts, stuff like that. That's what keeps your back functional. You guys remember Jack LaLanne? Jack LaLanne talked about this stuff. Granted, he died in his 90s, but he also got pneumonia from an incident. But the guy, after he turned 90, swam the English Channel, right? He was the original fitness guru. He always attributed the deadlift to his longevity. He's like, the deadlift has kept my back strong up into my 80s, my 90s. It's kept me functional. Structural loading exercises, getting strong at them. It doesn't do, if done correctly and trained correctly, even if you get monstrously strong at these lifts, it doesn't cause the degeneration in your body that people are thinking, oh yeah, my back is just going to be broken down and destroyed. And it's like, till you see guys who are over 60 who still deadlift over 500 pounds. There's quite a few out there in the strength world. And you say, oh, maybe not. Because what do you think of as a normal 60-year-old? Think of how many bodybuilders you know who didn't do these sort of lifts, who just did goofy bodybuilding stuff, who are actually falling apart by that age. Look at strength athletes who are still killing it. They don't have these back problems if they've kept their back healthy. But the only way to keep your back healthy is with Adaptive stress. A way to keep your hips healthy, keep your bone density high. Adaptive stress. And with every year that you guys age, probably you're going to really notice it around your mid-30s, right? You're going to notice it about your mid-30s. With every year of age, you're going to notice more and more when you lose strength, weaknesses, changes in bone density, osteoarthritis, your tendons. Strength is very valuable, and I'm glad Aaron acknowledged that, because it's something I kind of laugh about when I see the guys who only care about chasing this aesthetics thing and they don't care about their performance. They start falling apart. These guys are usually falling apart by the time they start reaching middle age, usually before. It's a trend you'll notice. Look at some of the other. Look at Jerry Ward. How many injuries does this guy get every time he even tries to touch or lift anything? He's literally lifting girl weights and getting hurt at this point. All right, that's what a lifetime of bodybuilding does. Get good at the big lifts. Make sure your core is strong, your back is strong. All right, it's not all about pecs and biceps. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.